And welcome to Fankhauser Reserve here on the beautiful Gold Coast for the start of the 2019 season. It is the game between the Southport Sharks and the Redland Bombers. Mark Kennedy joined by Jess Webster. And what we're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen, is the unfurling of the premiership flag from last year. Of course, the premiers, Southport, they are very much in the box seat yet again. Just having a little bit of technical difficulties here, but I might bring you in, Jess. Welcome to the coverage. And hopefully we've got rid of those technical difficulties, but I will welcome in Jess Webster. Not the perfect start to 2019, but Southport don't care because they've unfurled their premiership flag, and we are about to get underway in what is a perfect day here on the Gold Coast.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful at the moment. So good to be back. Footy's back for 2019, and so is the NEAFL, and this will be, hopefully we'll see a different Redland. Of course, they're coming off a season where they only had one win. I think they lost about half a dozen games by 3 goals or less. So wasn't the best season. Saying that, they were, did show competitiveness last year, but a massive task ahead of them today, coming up against the reigning premier, of course, playing on the same oval where they won the grand final last year. They have a strong list in. Can't wait to see how the new recruits go for Southport. Likewise with Redland, but you think Southport will get the job done today?
Well, one thing that's going to interest me today is the game style that Redland play. Of course, they've had a change of coach in the off-season, and one of the favourite sons in Phil Carrs makes his return back to the Bombers and brings with him a host of players from Camperdown, the likes of Cameron Spence. We've seen a new recruit in Matt McGannon come in. And there's another one there I was going to touch upon, Sam Cunnington coming in. So we're going to see a different Redland. It's just a matter of how much they've improved and where Southport really have set the benchmark last year. Are they going to raise it, or are they going to actually fall a little bit below? We're actually going to see very shortly.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what tactics Redland go in today. Of course, last year what was the cornerstone of Southport's game plan is they played a very, very good zone defence, and they loved to open up the game, and they were so good on the rebound and using the spaces to their advantage. What will Redland do here today? Will they try and go man-on-man? Will they try and, try and beat Southport at their own game plan? I'm fascinated to see how they actually attack this contest, knowing what they learnt from Southport last year and the way Steve Daniel has coached this team. Let's see what they come up with, Kanga.
Well, they had a bit of a sighter in the pre-season. They played each other once, and it was Southport that came out on top comprehensively by 10 or more goals. However, they did experiment with their side. Very much so. So we are just about to get underway. It looks like Southport will kick to the right of your screen or down to the Coolangatta end, and Redland, they'll be going up to the northern end. Or we might even call that the Brisbane end, but we're not quite that far north. We are on the beautiful Gold Coast. Round 1 of the NEAFL about to get underway. It's good to be back. We might talk about some of the other games that are unfolding this afternoon. A couple of upsets first up, but I think we might focus here just at the moment.
I think the umpire's just making sure we've got the 6-6-6. Of course, we've got new rules in play as well that we've got a good look at during the practice games, but just a moment here to make sure everyone's set and we're ready to go.
Well, the umpire holds the ball aloft, and season 2019 is underway. It's Turner and Malone. We'll give that one to Turner. He stayed down. Redland will try and take it away. And working hard there is Rolls, as per previous years. Turner, though, butters up as the big man. Puts it a driving ball inside forward 50. Just working hard there is Miller, and also the Redland defence collectively. Here's a new recruit for Southport leading the chase. It's Matt Shaw, but the ball beats him over, and we'll have a throw in.
Love to see the old sash is back. Kanga, the Redland Bombers and their clash strip for 2019 is a homage to their past. It's good to see it back as the umpire tosses the ball back in play. Turner and Malone in the ruck. Rolls with a little kick into space. Shaw gets the handball out to Taylor. Handball's inboard to Turner. Gets around one. Boston now evades an opponent. Drives the kick inside 50. And taking the mark is Josh Hall. No play on is the call. Handball's out to Shea. Little kick around the corner, but it's ill-directed, and Scott Miller takes the defensive mark for Redland.
Well done there. They held firm. Miller. He just finds Carlin Baker in the back pocket on the outer side. Finds a little short one. Goes to Mills. Mills assessing his options. Goes up the outer wing. Tape had front spot, but taking the mark there, that was Hamilman. Good to see him further up the ground this year. There's a change in game style. Coming through there was Taylor for Southport, right in the middle of Fankhauser Reserve. Goes again, but Redland, they'll just try and get the ball away. Miller just forages it forward. To about half forward. Huddy comes out. Well tackled he is. Southport, Turner, he's done very well early. He's been around the place. Eventually the ball ends up with Boston. And the play on the outer wing with Davis.
Davis has a man out wide and Tape. Short kick towards half forward, coming out on the lead is Hall. Outside forward 50. Turns around quickly and plays on. And he's got Shea in a bit of space on Mills. Handballs backwards to Shaw. What can he do? He tries to spot up a target. And coming out and taking the mark is Kai Shears.
It was good play. There was just really thoughtful the way they wanted to build it up, and in the hands of Matt Shaw with that AFL experience with Carlton and the Gold Coast, just picked out a nice target.
So Shears, he wants to handball to Murdoch, but Christensen was right there to chop that one off. So he's going back now on the approach. Take a big kick from outside forward 50. He's hooked it a little bit and will go across the face of goal. Flying was Hall, can't take the grab. In dangerous spot and off the deck. I think it's Charlie Ford. So Southport draw first blood through Ford, who's playing his first game back from an ACL injury he suffered in the early stages of 2017. He'll love getting the first goal on the board, Kanga.
Well, his celebration was pretty special, wasn't he? He got up very quickly from that scrimmage after kicking the goal, and I think he was trying to get as many high fives in a very rapid space of time as he could, as the players got around him as well. So the first blood to Southport. And like the work of Turner early, he's had a number of possessions, tried to set it up. 3 first quarter possessions already, inside 50 and a couple of hit-outs. Very important.
So we're back in the middle, Malone and Turner. We contest this one. So Southport with the first goal on the board to start 2019. Malone, big fly over Turner, puts it into the path of Spence, but he can't gather it. Fife is there for company. Frank's in there for Redland. The ball ricocheting through a number of players, and it'll force a ball up. And we've travelled to within 60 metres of Redland's goal.
Turner and Malone. No real clear winner. Manteet, though, gets it off the boot. Southport just get it forward. Malone just comes in with a bit of the heavy artillery. Taylor for Southport gets it off. And collecting it there was Shea. Just can't find the target, the handball. Going in there also was Mackenzie Willis, another new recruit. Working hard there was Miller, but he was set upon straight away. Willis, he's set upon again as he went in and butted up for another effort. And coming up with the tackle there was Cunnington.
So already seeing Southport's big recruits, Shaw, Willis with a couple of touches as well, and Shea is going to be a handy player for them. It's from the ball up. Boundary line beats all the players, and Spence carries it over the line. We'll have a boundary throw in. Almost right in front of us here on NEAFL TV. Thanks to our broadcast partner, Bar TV, bringing you all the action of round 1 of the NEAFL.
Throw in to Ruckman, do it again. And the ball went down to Batoli Simmons from Malone. Delivered it nicely, but Manteet was right there to lay the tackle, so it didn't go far. Like these new rules, it's going to allow for nice open play, particularly from those centre stoppages. Baru there gets it down to Roos. Roos goes up the line. It's return serve from the former Southport player in Rogers. Standing under it and doing it well, taking a nice mark, was Jordan Taylor. Just at half back on this clubhouse side of the ground, looking inboard. Little chipping ball, goes backwards. Straight to Tom Miller. Of course, new to the club from Tatura. Manteet gets it over the top to the steady Seb Tate. Right to the middle, finds Baru, and Emmanuel Baru just chips the ball out wider to the outer side, looking for a target. Unable to hold it there was Mills for Redland, but now on to, it was Mackenzie Willis. Selling the dummy was Ruse, held on to it, nobody held on to him, and now there was just enough pressure that got a high tackle, actually. I was going to say he might have been holding the ball because he did have the ball for a long time, but he just got one high just very late.
So Tyler Ruse back flipped on a move back home to Victoria in the off-season. He's staying put here at Southport, but will be spending more time in the midfield this year, so looking forward to seeing what he produces.
Widely reported that he was going home too. So what, is any idea why he back flipped?
Changed his mind, I think. Tanga?
It's his prerogative.
So Ruse on the approach from 50. Won't have the distance to go right to the line. I should say didn't have the accuracy for a minor score. So Southport 1-1-7. Redland yet to score. And we've played 6.5 minutes in the opening term. We
might ask his father at some stage. He's here today. Of course, the Swans premiership coach and champion player himself in Paul Ruse, as Yagmore goes out towards Bailey. Now to Christensen. And off to Clay Cameron. Good to see him fitting well. That looked like it was out of bounds before Christensen kicked it, and it was. Umpire called that nicely, so have a throw in. So we are 7.5 minutes into this first quarter. 1-1-7 Southport. And Redland yet to score. Haven't taken it inside their forward 50 yet. 4-zip in terms of inside 50s. Southport's way.
Throw in centre wing. Manteet gets boot to ball. Doesn't go very far. Ruse trying to extract it. Batoli Simmons now has a go for Redland. Boyd Bailey wrapped up in a tackle by Ford, and we will have a ball up. So let's see if Redland can win the clearance here. Coming through is Boston though. Fires out a handball to Fife. Kicks it in the Hall direction. Or should I say, it is in fact Jamison Shea, the new recruit. So how good was the Boston handball to Fife? And then just Jamison Shea read that one a little bit better than Adrian Williams, and he'll have a shot 20 metres out directly in front.
Well, Williams just turned his back on the ball. He lost sight of the ball and he lost contact with his man, and that's where Shea just had the ability just to get to the drop of the ball nicely. Take the easy mark, really.
So Shea on debut for the Sharks, and he makes no mistake there. And Southport have their second. 2-1-13, Redland yet to score. 8.5 minutes played in the first.
Well, they've recruited well, haven't they? When you go through the Southport lineup, Matt Shaw, AFL experience, and then you go down to Mackenzie Willis, of course, from the Gold Coast Suns, AFL experience. And then you go to Tom Miller from Tatura, who certainly looks like a likely type, to Jamison Shea from Footscray out of the VFL. So I don't think I'm missing any. Oh,
maybe
to
Tom
Josh
Fields.
Yeah, Tom Fields, very good down there as well, and Josh Williams also a bit of AFL experience as well. So enormous amount of depth and talent here at Southport. We'll see what Redland can bring though.
So we're back in the middle. Southport with the first couple of goals. Huddy moves into the ruck for Redland. Franks. Huddy goes again. Back out to Franks. Has a bit of room to move. Drives a kick inside 50. Coming through is Cunnington. Try to find Hamilman. Back to Cunnington now. Handballs in the space of Baker. Just hooks the kick around the corner and in space. Taking the mark is Luke O'Sullivan. And here's a chance for Redland to get an early goal on the board.
Well, nicely. You've got to be at the right spot at the right time. And that's where Luke O'Sullivan does. He looks like he's put on a few kilos and been in the gym over the pre-season. He's just developing into a player with a nice frame, and we know he's got plenty of talent. Has kicked multiple goals on multiple occasions, both with Redland and also when he was playing with the Lions at various stages.
So O'Sullivan didn't quite get the connection on that one. It'll drop just short, and it's rushed through for a minor score. Southport 2-1-13, Redland on the scoreboard, and the Sharks have played on quickly, and here's Shaw.
He goes out to Boston, did some of his best work over the off-season. Body double for Rami Malek in the Bohemian Rhapsody movie. The beautiful big teeth he's got. Ruse to Boston. Goes again to Davis. Davis, just a little chipping ball, finds Taylor. Off to Ruse, just running nicely as he does. Covers the ground well to Reece Clark. Down the wing on the clubhouse side of the ground. Unable to take it with him on that occasion was Williams. He still might be in here, Southport. Johnson would have got a few more Instagram followers over the summer, no doubt. Shaw went high. Now to Clements. Clements just centres the ball. Baru's the target at the back there. He just goes to ground, so just trying to mop it up there with Stallard. And Stallard, he can go out towards Clay Cameron on the half back.
Smart kick into the space of Clay Cameron. His kick, though, doesn't hit the target in Keneally. Now the Southport Cavalry arrive. 50-50 contest on the outer side wing. And Southport have wrapped it up, and we will have a ball up. Centre wing position outer side.
I like the way Southport are going about it at the moment. They're steady down back, and they're good through the midfield. Hall just got in the way of the umpire, or vice versa. Malone had the free hit out, I suppose, but eventually it was a holding the man decision that goes Michael Manteet's way. Manteet on the outer wing, a little chipping ball. That's right. Jamison Shea gives the ball off. And now they go to half forward. Clark was the target, just snuck down from defence. Well on there by Hamilman. And then off to Baker. Baker looking for a target. Found one there in Keneally. And then Christensen, he got it back though, Keneally. And nobody home for Redland, and taking the easy mark there. That was Jamison Shea. He's worked hard both ends of the field. They go out wide. And Fife, he's got a little bit of space to move.
So he's got an option short and short. A little 45 kick to Manteet. And he's got a man over the top, and Southport are away here. This is Clements, all alone on the outer side wing. He takes 2 bounces already, trying to assess his options. Decides to kick long, and out the back is Hall. He wants to, he's played on. Touched, I think, was the call, and he switches the kick and finds a man in space in Brodie Murdoch.
He was just touched off the boot there. So it's good presence of mind just to spot up a target there. And I like the way Reece Clark has snuck down from defence, and now Brodie Murdoch. There just seemed a good willingness to run from defence, and it was a good passage of play, bringing it down the outer side, and presence of mind end up with Brodie Murdoch here.
It's a classic Southport transition from the defence. Let's see if Murdoch can finish off, and he certainly does. It's number 3 for Southport, and they've got the early break on Redland to start this round 1 contest.
They've just got some talent all over the field, and you just can't help but think that one thing that Phil Carrs at Redland would be big on is pressure around the contest. And that's something that they'll need to do against Southport here, because if you let them run and you let them just have that little bit of extra space, they're going to hurt you, just given the quality of their personnel and the way they are efficient in space particularly.
Yeah, certainly a well-drilled side is Southport. A big test for Redland in this round 1 contest. We know that. But they wouldn't want to let this score blow out any further. So, Umpire slams the ball into the turf. Malone and Turner again in the ruck. And Malone fires out a handball, but intercepted by Boston. Now to Murdoch, under pressure, so it's a high kick towards half forward. Oh, great contest between Yagmore and Johnson. It spills away to Rogers, the former Shark. Handballs backwards to Miller, under pressure, kick partially smothered. Yagmore can't gather, and now he's set upon by a couple of Sharks. It spills out to Turner, just whacks it on the boot and puts it into space inside forward 50. And the ball beats them all, and we'll have a throw in, 20 metres around from Southport's goal.
Turner just, he thought he'll just get it down into that forward pocket, and then we can regroup yet again. So Malone, he'll do battle with Hall this time. So Josh Hall only came down to Southport halfway through last year and then got involved in the premiership. And Redland tried to bring it out of defence, and the kick was awry. Adrian Williams just tried to clear, couldn't do so. Out of bounds on the full, and Brodie Murdoch, I believe it will be. And he's got the kick. Or no, he's going to pass it over and give it to Mackenzie Willis. And the blue boots of Willis goes towards Hall, and the former teammates at the Gold Coast Suns, they combine, and Josh Hall says I'll go back and have a crack at this.
So Hall, obviously a mid-season recruit he was for Southport last year. Ended up winning a premiership. Not bad for half a season of footy.
I think there's an echo. I just said that about 30 seconds ago. That's all right. We're just ramming it home for those people that are with us on NEAFL TV. Thanks to our broadcast partner, Bar TV. It's Josh Hall. The best part of 50 metres he shoots from. It looks to be just fading offline. It looked pretty good, but just went off to the right. So 1 point is the result, 3-2-20 to 1 behind. Southport in the lead is Yagmore. Kicks the ball in. Generally good by foot, but that's not his best effort, and ends up with Mackenzie Willis.
A crowded forward 50, so he elects to just go a little bit backwards. Spots up Murdoch, trying to find a lead in a crowded forward 50. He just loads up, sends it towards the hot spot. The fly has come, drop mark. And now it's getting close to the line. Can we get a soccer through? Ruse! Oh, touched off the boot it was for a minor score. So Southport, 3-3-21, lead Redland 1 behind. Nearly 17 minutes played in the opening term. And as we see the new rule, quick kick in from Redland, and they're already at right half back.
So take it down. O'Sullivan, he's made a bit of ground down there. Baker is up towards Rolls, but can't find him. Just trying to burst through there. Well done there by Keneally. Ball now inside Redland forward 50. Hamilman at the back, almost a push. Umpire says play on, let's keep going. Hamilman off the ground. The NEAFL's leading goal kicker for 2018 gets his tally underway for 2019. And Redland have their first for the season as well to go with it. So they narrow the margin back to 14 points.
Good second effort there it was by Hamilman. That's what you want from a full forward, just to fight for everything in that forward 50 is so important to this side. As well as also, of course, Adrian Williams down back, the two NEAFL Team of the Year members. They'll miss Jackson Payne this year, Redland. He provided so much aggression and was so good at winning the contested footy last year. So they'll need another forward to step up and assist Hamilman at full forward. But a great first goal for Redland. Reduces the margin to 14 points.
Well, notice Batoli Simmons is inside forward 50. And obviously a fit Clay Cameron. Very important. So I think we've got an infringement here. And I think this might be a warning for not having 6 players inside the forward or defensive 50. See another infringement will look in. Malone got it down to Rolls, and Redland are inside their forward 50, and Mr. Reliable, Seb Tape, is there to take the intercept mark, plays on quickly and finds Tom Miller. Miller looking for 5 and finds him. Good to see on the off-season he's done a little bit of tanning as work. The young man from Tasmania, a little bit darker than when he arrived 12 months ago. And that's a free kick going the way of Mackenzie Willis, and that is not his best kick, and only found Rolls. Rolls off to Stallard, and Stallard goes up towards half forward, can't find a target. In there was Hamilman trying to have a go at it. Spence lays a tackle on Tape, and it is a free kick. It is going...
It's going Southport's way to Seb Tape, called by the umpire.
Might have been a high shot, I think.
It was. So Tape handballs off to Davis. Andrew Island medalist from last year's grand final, up towards half forward. Ball goes over Shea and Williams, close to the boundary line. This is McGannon. Lovely kick to Boyd Bailey, and he's got a man out wide in Baker. He switches the play. They've got Clay Cameron out, all alone on the outer side wing. Clay Cameron takes off. Burrows closing in. Cameron, another lovely kick, and spots up Damien Stephen. So as the numbers flood back into Redland's forward line, he tries to find Hamilman on the lead, and he's got the mark. Good transition of play there from Redland, and Hamilman will have a shot from outside forward 50. And
what's already impressing me about the game style that Redland are playing is that they're prepared for Clay Cameron and Matthew Hamilman to actually go up the ground. They were very much stay at home, deep players last year when they were playing together with Jackson Payne. It was pushing up the ground. He's no longer there, so they need a couple of hit-up players, and it's great to see them particularly going further afield to get the ball.
So Hamilman for 2 in a row to him and 2 in a row on the Bombers. Let's go from 51 metres. Has the distance but fades in the final moments for a minor score. Southport 3-3-21. Redland 1-2-8.
Ryan Davis will take the ball. Just transport it. Nice piercing kick. It doesn't find O'Shea on that occasion though. Southport will still come away. Shears and Pfeiffer involved. O'Shea doesn't find with a handball Turner, so it's intercepted. Salter it is, and just an indiscriminate kick to nobody. And it's, I guess they start back where they were, Redland. And Boston now comes down the clubhouse wing. His worm-burning kick only finds Scott Miller, so it's an intercept mark there for Redland. And Williams, they can get the ball away. Redland now at half forward.
And again, you can just see how Southport getting the numbers back and repelling these attacks as Davis to Roos. Handballs out wide to Shaw. He's got Baru on the outer side wing, the former Suns Academy member. Just drives it inside forward, 15 forward with the fly. Unrealistic attempt, and that's a push. And Rogers plays on for Redland from the advantage. Lucky to get to Batoli Simmons, who handballs to Rolls. Short spear and kick to Clay Cameron, just inside the centre square. Pops it back over the top. Great running by Rolls as he approaches forward 50. Goes in the O'Sullivan direction. He's got 2 to beat. Does well to force a 50-50, but Southport will win out in numbers. Boston around the corner under a little bit of pressure, hoping for the boundary line, and he gets it. And
I was probably calling for that one, but I didn't think Andrew Boston had too much thought other than to kick for the boundary line there. Umpire disagrees with me, which is his prerogative.
It's under a bit of pressure, though.
Yeah.
And the ball partially smothered even a little bit.
Got to try a little bit harder for mine. But anyway, I'm a hard taskmaster, Huddy. And Southport will come away. Here's that man, Boston. Got it from Roos, and who in turn got it from Fife. But now with Hall right in front of us here in the NEAFL commentary position. Hall, one-on-one. He's looking for Shears. Shears is just in line with it. He copped a high one, so we win the free kick. It was clever. I thought he took his eye off the ball, just wanting it to go over his head, but he knew what he was doing better than I did and won the free kick. Just about 45 metres he'll have to kick it for if he chooses to shoot for goal.
So he had an earlier shot on goal from a similar distance. This one a much tougher angle for Kai Shears. So taking time on his approach, using up every second he can. So this for goal number 4 for Southport. Shears from 48 metres. He'll go across the face of goal. And a mark at the back by Williams. Great defensive mark. And he wants to play on quickly. Puts his teammate under pressure. Bailey. Handballs out wide to Clay Cameron. Under pressure with the kick, and it goes straight down the throat of Tom Miller.
So Southport, they'll bring it back in from whence it came. Seb Rogers is there, and he takes the defensive mark. Good to see him back playing NEAFL football. And of course, played with Southport, as we mentioned a couple of times already. Short kick finds McGannon. Boy from Fish Creek. 2 AFL footballers of note came from Fish Creek. Barry Stanfield, who was big with Footscray, and the icon, the cult figure at the Adelaide Crows in Wayne Wiedemann, the Weed. There's that kick. It'll end up with Redland. So the man with the ball here is Sam Cunnington. And good, nice little piece of work. Finds another recruit in Spence. They go out wide now. Salter to O'Sullivan. Room to move. 60 metres out. The target is Clay Cameron. Finds him easily. So good build-up there by Redland.
And good patient footy. They'd blazed away a couple of times inside forward 50. But that was good play from Redland there, just to control it and hit a target inside forward 50. And Clay Cameron, great to see him back playing footy. Of course, returned midway last year after an unfortunate bout of cancer, but it's great to have him back. And by all reports, he's had a wonderful pre-season and is raring to go for season 2019.
Does look fit. Looks a little bit lighter than he did last year for mine, but I'm sure he's in wonderful nick. Unfortunately, that's not the nick he wanted, because he just put it to the near side of the goals. So they move to 139 to 3-3-21.
25 minutes played in this opening term as Fields. Long kick outside defensive 50 goes over the pack. Shears will be first to meet it. Overruns at the ball. Just stays in now. It's over the line. And we'll have a boundary throw in right in front of us here in the NEAFL TV commentary position.
I just wondered, was that touched on the way through? Because it was right down in front of us and it just went on the line. Because if it just rolled over, I thought it would have been a free kick the other way. Malone, Bailey, Miller. Miller just stops props, goes inside off the one step and only finds Jordan Taylor for Southport. So Southport can load up from half back as they like to do. Back to Fields. Fields on the left, just chips it nicely. And they're away here. Reece Clark, he got it on that occasion from Miller. Couple of bounces through the middle on his trusty left foot. Generally pretty good. Finds Mitch Johnson. Looks like he's been pumping a bit of iron over the off-season. And a few extra stickers on the arms as well. He just puts it to the goal square and waiting there all alone just at the back. It was a good kick. It found Jed Turner.
Yeah, not enough body pressure, I don't think, on Jed Turner in that one, Kanga. It's a little bit too easy taking that defensive mark. But again, another great transition from Southport. They do it so well off halfback, don't they? And they just always have an ability to find space, particularly on this ground, their home ground, which is a little bit bigger than most. So here comes Turner.
On his left foot, Turner, the natural. And he put it just to the other side of the post. I thought it was a point he's kicked there. The goal umpire, though,
it was a 50-metre penalty, so
yeah,
it's either play on advantage and it's a goal, or I think they're bringing it back to have the shot on goal because he missed. I hope I've got my
you do. I think
umpiring rules correct.
You are spot on.
Okay.
It was an infringement there. I think it might have been over the mark or infringing within the 5 metres. And my question why I hesitated was that I thought the goal umpire was going to signal that first one a goal when I thought it was a point. But Turner makes no mistake. He's been very good in this first quarter. He's only had the 3 hit-outs, but he's had the 6 disposals, or 7 disposals now, and including a goal. So Jed Turner been very, very good. Leading all comers, Andrew Boston, no great surprise there. 9 first quarter disposals. Turner with those 7 that I mentioned there. Miller with 6, and Matt Shaw with 5. And for Redland, Clay Cameron, he's had half a dozen himself. Bailey's got 5 for Redland, and then Baker and Rolls with 4 apiece. The margin is at 18 points.
A couple of minutes, if that, left in this opening term. Sorry, if that. I was a little bit off, but it's quarter time here at Fankhauser Reserve. Southport got the early jump on Redland. They lead 4-3-27 to 1-3-9, and I think Southport doing what we thought they would do today.
Yeah, look, they came in as heavy favourites, given the recruits that they had, and I suppose to some extent Redland probably on paper at least haven't looked like they've recruited as well. But I can see some improvement in Redland. I can see some improvement in the game style that they're playing, and to me they're heartening things that working in past round 1 that you can say they are going to be far more competitive this year. Southport, as we just said, they look like the well-oiled machine is just ticking on over, and I think they're going to be a very competitive force in season 2019.
We'll take a short break here on NEAFL TV and come back with the second quarter in just a few moments.
And that rustling noise is the sound of Jess Webster, the NEAFL media manager, the encyclopedia of NEAFL, everything NEAFL, is joining us back again. It's quarter time here at Fankhauser Reserve, here on the beautiful Gold Coast. Round one of the NEAFL, Southport 4-3-27. The reigning premiers getting the jump on the reigning wooden spooners. In Redland Bombers, 1-3-9. So the margin at quarter time is 18 points. Quickly around the grounds, couple of results that are final. It is Sydney University springing a bit of a surprise over Aspley to start with, 107-60, a 47-point victory there. And Canberra getting away, following on from their great season, and they have had a 11-point victory over the Gold Coast Suns. This is the voice of Jess Webster.
So Turner, a little hook kick around the corner and taking the contested grab. Used his body well was Kai Shears. Quick to play on. He's got Johnson in space and he finds him. So Mitch Johnson, club leading goal kicker for last year. He'll line up and have a shot on goal. 45-degree angle and about 35 metres out.
It was a good transition. I like the contested grab of Kai Shears. He just protected the area the ball was going to come in nicely and just used his body with great effect. And down to Mitch Johnson. And here on NEAFL TV, thanks to our broadcast partners, Bar TV, we're getting a good look at this. Mitch Johnson comes in, starts it right, and it just fades back nicely for a goal. And Southport get the first of the second quarter, and they move away to a 24-point lead. And so 5-3-33 to Redland, 1-3-9. It was a nice educated kick there from Mitch Johnson, Jess.
He loves the goal and he loves the celebration too. Of course, I forget how many goals he kicked last year. I should know that, being the encyclopedia of the NEAFL Kanga, but I do know he kicked the second most goals behind Hammelman in the end. Finished third in the leading goal kicker award, but in finals he overtook the great Darren Ewing, and it was a great season to finish sort of runner-up, if you like, for most goals. And last year's a good effort. Mitch
Johnson there kicked 55 goals and 26 behinds. So thanks to your beautiful season guide, Jess Webster, that you put together, just gave me those beautiful stats. Rolls gets it away, but Southport will come away. Shaw, Ruse, and now the left foot of Turner. He has absolutely shanked that, but they'll still come away. And inside forward 50 again they go. Williams picks it up nicely from his bootlaces, gets it to Miller, and Redland out of a bit of trouble. Rolls off to Bertoli. Simmons at half back, although they're still under a bit of pressure. Rolls just gets it up on that wing.
So here's Jai Keneally, former Lions Academy member, joining Redland this season full-time. Just tried to chip a kick to Franks, but Davis chopped it off and is quick to send it back the other way, but his kick has turned it over to Seb Rogers, his teammate. Forgot he was playing for the opposition this year. Rogers called to play on. Short lateral kick finds Adrian Williams at left half back.
This is where we're going to find out whether Redlands are going to really improve. This is where they got really bogged down last year at various points in time, where they can hold the ball and actually transport it through the middle of the ground. Williams, he got it on that occasion from Mills. Now to Miller. Miller gets back around one, and they've a lot of possession, not going far. The important thing is they don't turn it over though. Rolls, got a man further afield or wide up, and that was Mills. Now they turn it over. Reece Clark gets in the way, but unfortunately he couldn't get anything away of great effect himself. So ball in dispute. Davis in there hard. Keneally and Shaw. And the ball will be balled up surely by the umpire, and now he blows his whistle. So half back out of side, Redland defending. The umpire will throw the ball in the air.
So a few minutes into this second term, the umpire has pulled out a free kick, going the way of Southport.
To hold on Boston, I feel.
So Boston driving kick into the pocket, and dropping the mark was Shea. And he's got Williams for company, but he's given away a free kick for too high. And Jamison Shea will take the free kick. Tough angle to speak of. So let's see what if he tries to do the... No, he wants to go backwards to Ruse. I thought for a minute he was maybe going to try the wheel around snap kick and utilise the effects of the new rules. But he's instead found a teammate.
Well, Roos, what's your feeling? He's a very good player. He was one of the best for Southport all year in their premiership year of 2018. This might test him though. Comes in, right to the goal line. Has it got enough on it? Not quite. A matter of inches. Or if you're in the metric system, centimetres. And touched on the line. Yagmore will be the man that brings it back in. The margin now is 25 points.
So Yagmore, kick had a little bit too much on it. Missed Hamilman. Now Boston mops up. He's under pressure. Dispossessed. Redland win the footy through Stevens. Handball over the top to Rolls. Little dinky kick inboard. Christensen mops up. Has Bertoli Simmons, but missed the kick. Manteet to Turner. Puts on the afterburners, does Turner. And then kicks out wide. She's in a bit of a space. He'll run onto this one. Now he just pops it inside, forward 50. And taking the uncontested mark is Jamison Shea.
Well, again, just a few kicks that didn't find their target. Few little skill errors. I think Christensen's idea was right, but it just missed Bertoli Simmons. And the turnover came. And what about the toe of Jed Turner there?
Loved it. Loved it from the big ruckman.
Looked like a big galloping greyhound.
As O'Shea approaches forward 50. Looks good off the boot. Has it got the carry? It's off hands, but kept alive by Williams. Great play from Adrian Williams, the star fullback. But Baker, he took off, he played on.
It was actually 50 metres.
Yeah,
it was 50 metres, so that contact was inconsequential, if you like.
Baker's wants to move it on quickly. He wants to take advantage of this new rule. But he hasn't got a lot to go to. It's pretty crowded. Southport have done well to get numbers back. So he just pops it up. A pack will form. It's 3 against 1 against Redland. Offense Clay Cameron out the back. He can't quite gather it. Now Southport should win out through the numbers. Murdoch to Clark. And great vision to spot up Shaw. And that's a beautiful kick out wide to find Shears in space.
Shears, I thought that kick was a little bit fortuitous in the back half of the ground, but you take it when it comes off. Ball now with Shaw, backward of centre. Penetrating kick finds Baru, now forward of centre. What can they do? Redland push back in numbers. That kick's not good, it just goes to ground, and Redland can mop it up. Stallard has Hamilman in space at half forward. He turns, he goes. There's only one player forward of him. That's Clay Cameron. He just darts around, and that was well done. It was Bertoli Simmons. I thought Cameron had it for all money, but Bertoli Simmons was streaming down the corridor. He managed to get into the path of that ball and take it out of the clutches of Clay Cameron. Pretty good work there by Redland.
Yeah, lucky not to mess it up in the end, but good work by Bertoli Simmons to take the crab. And as the captain does, if the captain has his eyes on it, I think Clay Cameron was like, oh, you take it.
Bit of delegation there to the captain. Bertoli Simmons, he's hit it nicely. That's a second for the Bombers. Not a bad build-up. And good work in the middle of the ground by Stallard to just cut the ball off and give the opportunity for Redland for a forward foray. And they have their second. They move to 2-3-15. Southport 5-4-34. The margin at 19 points. We've played 7 or nearly 8 minutes of this second quarter here at Fankhauser Reserve. How'd you see that one, Jess Webster?
Oh, I thought a nice little confidence boost for Redland. I think you can tell that they certainly are competitive and haven't let Southport completely dominate. Of course, Southport have control at the moment, but just got to keep that scoreboard ticking over, keep it close and try and take your chances when they come. And Bertoli Simmons did exactly that. It was a great finish by the captain. And
here we are again. We've got another potential infringement. And this time it'll be a warning. So I think both sides have had one warning each now for not having the required 6 players in their forward and defensive zones respectively. New rule that's come into the AFL just to try and clean up and make this a really open style of game. Ruse bustled Fife, his own man, over and then coughed up the ball. Bailey had his kick smothered. Mackenzie Willis, he gave the ball to Fife. It was, what would you say, it was a bit like Godzilla on a little Ushi. For those playing at home, they have kids, Ushies. And Dylan Fife, he was just squashed, if you like. The ball up again. We'll go again. Spoken to Jess Webster too much over the off-season, so she still thinks my dad jokes are pretty funny. I'll let you take it away here, Jess.
It's round one, Kanga. Can't wait for a whole season with you. So, Kaishi goes in hard. Good aggression by the youngster, but Yagmore wins out for Redland. Back to Miller. Will kick around the corner and taking the contested grab over Salter is Willis. For Southport, close against the boundary line. Centre wing position. Pops it up, and flying over the back was Ford. Couldn't take the grab. Shears at the back. Snap kick around the corner inside 50. And coming out is Shea. He's going to be a great pickup for Southport, Kanga. From Footscray in the VFL. And he takes the grab just inside forward 50 and will have a shot for his second goal.
It's, has he got a relation in this side? His Irish cousin there, O'Shea. There, Jess, have we got any confirmation of whether they're related? Obviously, different overseas brackets, O'Shea and Shea. Shea comes in, though, hangs it out to the right to the goal square. Huddy there just kills it nicely. Did well, the big man, former Kenmore Bear. So another point to Southport. And Redland bring it back in. Adrian Williams just came off the interchange bench and got on the end of that kick. And did well. Hamilman behind centre. Did well. Handball or the kick smothered. Ends up with Yagmore. Generally good by foot. Kennelly goes over the back. Impacts the contest. There is O'Sullivan at ground level. They dive in. Plenty of numbers. But it stacks on if you like. What's the umpire going to call here? Ball up.
Nice transition by Redland though. It was a great build up. Just couldn't win that footy inside 50.
I was just waiting for your answer on my question, by the way.
I've started to ignore you. No, I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll go again. And Clark tries to clear. Bailey, though, quick kick, just out of bounds on the full. Doesn't find a behind or a goal. And 1 point result. Sorry, out of bounds it was. I even said that, didn't I? So the score remains 20 points in favour of Southport.
Southport well on top in the clearances and inside 50, leading clearances 12-3, inside 50s 21-6. A short kick to the pocket to Murdoch. This kick though a little bit ill-directed. O'Sullivan marks, chips it into the pocket and finds Hamilman. So Hamilman quick to play on, bends it around the corner, and that's goal number 2 to Hamilman.
Well, that was poor checking, wasn't it, by the Southport defence. Not only to turn it over, but then as Hamilman took the mark, they just let him run through there. And I think it might have been Ryan Davis that even after Hamilman kicked the goal, he put his hand up and said, yeah, boys, I probably should have made Hamilman go back and actually have a shot at it rather than run into the open goal. But good work there. That's 2 for Hamilman now. And the margin back down to 14 points. Redland, they're being very competitive here. There's
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Absolutely. So just got to keep this up for 4 quarters because Southport, as we know, well drilled, very fit, and they generally run out games pretty well here, especially on their home deck at Fankhauser Reserve. So a lot of footy left to be played, but I've liked what I'm seeing for Redland so far. And
one point I think I want to touch on here is I saw former Southport coach Jason Cotter, former head of football here at Southport, involved with Redland as an assistant coach. So that's a bit of a coup. So he'll know both his deck at Fankhauser very well and also the opposition. As Ruse comes away from the middle of the ground. Johnson just gathers it nicely. Good block there by O'Shea. Johnson right to a very dangerous spot, but getting back there was Malone. The handball wasn't good though. Baru got in the way, but they've had to work hard. They might get out of it here, Redland. Mills to Yagmore. Yagmore just kicks a big up and under. Good luck. Well, that one, Fields and O'Sullivan. Fields just worked O'Sullivan off the ball. And then the ball came in, found Ruse. Ruse sees a target, Baru, but punched away from him. Redland can come away. Well done there. That was Spence who gave the handball to a teammate under pressure. They got it back into the centre square, but the ball was wrapped up with a good pressure tackle.
So intensity, I think, is lifted in the last couple of minutes. Halfway through the second quarter. Margin's 14 points. Oh, the hit on Hall. on who's at the bottom of the pack. It's Boyd Bailey. He was getting tackled by Shaw and then got a shirt front from Hall. When he gets up, he's willing to go again. So from the ball up, Spence dispossessed by Fife. And that will be another ball up, just on the outskirts of the centre square.
It's a little bit physical in the last couple of moments. That's all right, though. The thrust and parry of round one of NEAFL TV, or NEAFL football here, thanks to NEAFL TV. Christensen gets it going forward his way. Clay Cameron with the target. He gets up with a second effort. Can't quite take it. Batoli Simmons, good handball out. Unable to just hold on the first occasion was Franks. Franks, a little worming ball inside and finds Hamilman. I thought it wasn't going to get there, but just had enough on it. And Hamilman slid the big digger arms underneath it, the shovel. And the umpire said that's a mark.
It was a good spread by Redland, actually. There was a little bit of a fumble, and I'm thinking, oh, Southport are going to get numbers back. But they had options forward in the end. Went to Hamilman, and why wouldn't you? The NEAFL leading goal kicker from last season and already got 2 goals here today.
How many goals last year there, Jess?
60.
We'll check that out in just a moment. And Hamilman on that occasion, he won't add another one to his tally, and at 60 it was. So well played to you. I might ask how many behinds in a moment. That's a bit of trivia. And the kick comes in, and then Taylor. That's it. Now back to Clark, who kicked it to him. Now we're looking for Mackenzie Willis, but it didn't find him. And just getting in the middle there was Stallard. So well done. Redland will bring it back into their forward 50.
Oh, big collision there by 2 Southport players, and Taylor and Clark, I think it was. Oh, that was a big hit.
And you certainly heard a few oohs and ahs up here.
And I think we're going to have a break here. Actually, the umpire, they called for a stretcher or blood rule.
No, blood rule initially. Yeah. So clearly there's a bit of that is a head clash because Jordan Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
Has a fair bit coming out of his bonce already. He's got up while looking worse for wear, but not getting up yet, though, is Miller.
Yeah, it's Taylor and Miller. I correct myself.
And I've got to say that on face value, that Jordan Taylor looks a little bit worse, but Tom Miller probably feels a bit worse.
God, that is a lot of blood coming from Jordan Taylor. Renowned for his courage, though, so it doesn't surprise me at all. He sort of threw himself into that pack, but let's just hope he's okay, because I think there'll be a bit of concussion issues as well. So,
and there's a free kick that was paid to Southport, so that I think there might have been a push in that marking contest.
So it looks like Miller's staying out there, so, but Taylor will come off and get assessed.
He had the kick too, Miller. And Williams couldn't quite take it for Southport. Turner hits it off. Mackenzie Willis, he's off to the races. Couple of bounces down the outer wing here at Fankhauser. Goes up looking for Johnson. That's Mitch Johnson. Has to get it on the second bite. Now just chips it up looking for a target. O'Shea it was. Couldn't find him. Baru just tried to shield the ball so a teammate could come through. Ball under plenty of arms and legs. Miller emerges with it. Has his kick smothered. And that being wrapped up was Caleb Franks there by Tyler Roos. So ball trapped in Southport's forward 50.
So Redland have done well here. They've won the quarter at this stage. Let's see, has Boston. Couldn't quite get the connection on that kick. Play on is the call, touched off the boot. And we will have a ball up.
Good tackle there by Mitch Johnson. And that was on McGannon. Haven't seen a lot of McGannon, one of the new recruits just yet. So he's only had the 2 touches as we have another stoppage there.
It's big raps on McGannon though. He jumping up to senior footy this year, made the TAC Cup Team of the Year last year and attended the state combine. So he's got a bright future and I think he'll learn a few things here today against a very quality Southport side.
It was Tyler Roos that kicked the ball out of bounds on the full, although the umpire said it might have been touched off the boot, so we will have a throw in instead. Initially the boundary umpire signalled on the full, but the ball's being tossed in Malone had front spot. Ruse did well. And on the end of it was Manteet. And he immediately pointed to Ruse. So it looked like a bit of a set play for mine. And a goal to Michael Manteet, NEAFL Team of the Year member. Very consistent player in season 2018. And no doubt will be looking to follow on that form. And helps them extend the margin back out to 19 points, Southport.
Manteet obviously won the best and fairest last year for Southport in their premiership year, which is a wonderful achievement. And he was also nominated for a Gold Coast Sportsman of the Year award at the Gold Coast Sports Awards. So a great season from him last year and a wonderful goal and great team effort as well by Southport. So they just edged further in front now. 19 points. The difference. So it was 20 points earlier in this quarter, so they're just keeping that 3-goal buffer at the moment over the Bombers.
Away again. A real clear winner. Rolls it is. Probably had a little bit more time. Got it to half forward. The punch came from Fields, away from Batoli Simmons. McGannon, he's in the way here again, so well done. He's starting to get involved. Batoli Simmons gets a squeezing handball out to Rolls, who's pummeled. Absolutely pummeled by Michael Manteet. So he's kicked a goal down that end and laid a crunching tackle and won a beautiful free kick there. And half back. Goes back to Matt Shaw. It's like Salter's wearing Matt Shaw reasonably close. Kick is a little bit of a dicey one. Goes out to Reece Clark. Forced to retreat. Goes back to the alternate pocket. Laterally. Finds Manteet again. Murdoch is the target, and just outside defensive 50 finds him.
Redland have done well just to stop that run out of defence, but Southport, you can see they're so good finding the targets as Murdoch spears a kick to Hall on the lead, and then goes back to Murdoch, close to the boundary line. It's going to flirt outside, and it does, goes out of bounds on the full. It'll be a free kick to Redland. I think they did well there, Kanga, just to sort of stop that run that Southport generated out of defence. So just put a little bit of pressure on them. Forced the turnover and won themselves a free kick as Rogers goes backwards to Miller. Andrew Williams, I correct myself.
Well, that's a dangerous kick, but just finds Boyd Bailey in time. Shears was closing in quickly. They go wide. Scott Miller. This is where things get a little bit hairy for Redland in the pass. Their kick's not good, puts Rolls under pressure, who immediately gave it to Baru, and Baru has probably wasted an opportunity there. He had more time, probably could have straightened up and kicked a more conventional shot at goal. Redland, that's 2018 type error. They need to get back to their systems. As Adrian Williams, we got the kick, he can repel.
So it goes in the Huddy direction, off hands. At the back is Ruse. He balls backwards to Boston. Looks ahead of him inside 50. Johnson's the target, and he read that beautifully and takes the grab over Adrian Williams. Did a great job there, Johnson, and he will have a shot on goal. 45 metres out, slide angle.
Well, 13 centimetres difference there. Adrian Williams had the advantage, and Johnson was at the back and just read it far better on that occasion, and Adrian Williams will be absolutely filthy with himself.
You're not wrong, Kanga. Johnson's the one with the footy. Already got one goal this afternoon in this quarter. So comes in and lets go from 40, and it just doesn't have the line. Fades for a minor score. Southport 6-7-43, Redland 3-4-22. Play 23 minutes in the second.
Yagmore, that's a nice kick, finds Hamilman, who's come fair with downfield. He wouldn't know where he is if you take 2018's compass by example, because he didn't leave the forward line, I wouldn't have thought. Kick down the line, Rolls, out of fresh air shot off the ground. Fields is right there for Southport. He's pulled off the ground by Rolls, so is Tom Fields, who wins the free kick. Big likely strapping lad he is, Tom Fields too.
Playing his first NEAFL game since 2013, Kanga, of course, came from Labrador, then went to Adelaide, picked up by Carlton, and now he's back. So as Boyd Bailey mops up in defence for Redland. hits Hamilman on the lead. A long way from home. Chips inboard to Salter. Just drops the mark. And balls into the path of a teammate, but they've turned it over here. And this is Williams, inside forward 50. Johnson's got a bit of space on Peter Yagmore. Snaps for goal and he gets it. To Southport. Hurt Redland on the turnover. And they've got goal number 7.
Well, I guess it's a bit like a broken record at various times, isn't it? The poor foot skills can hurt you. And the efficiency there by hand, or by foot and by hand, in that little passage of play through the middle of the ground. It was Hamilman missed Salter, I think it was, and then the rolls, missed rolls with the handball once he regathered, and that just allowed Southport just come flooding back the other way. And of course they had 3 men, and Johnson was one of them, Mitch Johnson, and he doesn't need too much of a sniff to take advantage. Yeah,
absolutely. As soon as it went inside forward 15, it was a one-on-one, and Johnson had 2 metres on his opponent. You'd almost bet your house that he'd gather and have a shot on goal every time. So and that one went through. So a game high margin of 27 points now. Huddy in the ruck against Turner. Give that one to Turner. Rolls and goes hard at it. Salter there as well. Just bustled a player over. Huddy picks the ball up. Goes up towards half forward. Kennelly has the ball spoiled away from him. Franks worked hard, but he was dispossessed. Now Ruse, he comes away with the ball. Little chipping ball doesn't find Clements on the full. He butted up, had his handball smothered. Franks is in there again. Good work and good effort there by him. It was Damien Stephen. He got the ball inside forward 50, and it's Matt Hamilman with the ball. So Hamilman will be looking to make amends by kicking truly here. So he'll go back and take the shot, as all good full forwards do when they mark the ball inside forward 50. So let's see if Redland can get a quick response. Just keep that margin close at half-time, just to give them something to going into the second half with. 2-2 so far today, Matt Hamilman. Tougher kick this one, but makes it look easy. And that's a good goal for Redland, very timely. It puts the margin back to 21 points. They've matched Southport largely on the scoreboard this quarter, 3 goals apiece. So excellent work there by Redland, but they had to undo that, I suppose, calamitous little bit of play previous to that. And you would think potentially they could be within a couple of kicks had they not have coughed that easy goal up the other way just before. But I mean, it's round 1, and I think you'd want to almost take on the defending premier for a side like Redland with a lot of young players as well as new faces. It'll be a really solid hit out for them today, regardless of the score. And I think we've seen some good passages of play from them. So there's a lot for Phil Cast to work with this side. Just got to fix up those basic skill errors. So Rolls got it out. There's an error. He went off the one step, and Shaw and Tate combined to get it to Fields. Nicely on the left foot, Manteet, the run on from Shaw. So they're just combining well here. Ruse, though, has his kick smothered, but fortuitously falls in the arms of Ford. Tate comes through. Little chipping ball. That was very nicely done. One little hand on the ball, which was a partial smother in that passage of play, interrupted Southport's chain of nicely constructed possession. So just when Redland claw one back with a goal, a few moments later, Southport have another attempt at just extending that margin again. So the former high jumper, Gold Coast Sun, the former rugby league player turned AFL player once again in Josh Hall, and he probably kicked it like he was looking for a crossbar somewhere. Wasn't his best effort by Josh Hall. Would love to take that kick again, I think. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, look, it's if you're going to give some players a bit of, I suppose, what would you say, a little bit of leeway in round 1, or give him one as well. And Redland bring it back in. That was Adrian Williams. He goes to the outer side of the ground. So Boyd Bailey finds Tom Salter, takes a good contested grab. Hung on to that one. So chips it out wide in the Cunnington direction. Had 2 to beat. Wins himself a free kick. Play on advantage. Hits Franks on the outer side wing. Wheels around. Chips it, but again, another missed target. Turner mops up for the Suns. Boston falls over his own feet, and his handball to Tom Miller immediately put him under pressure, and Redland forced the ball up. I had the space. They had the...
And I tell you what, that is not a good one. And I'd say that Andrew Boston is in a very big amount of trouble. I don't think he meant to hit him where he did, but I think he clocked him, Aaron Christensen, right across the jaw. I think he meant to hit him in the chest, but that is going to be, I think that'll be looked at during the week. Aaron Christensen gets up, it goes off the big chest, the ample chest of Matt Hamilman, so play on. Good to see Christensen going back out at least. And just dragged off the ball was Murdoch. And he wins the free kick. So Hamilman, again, just probably would love to have just clutched onto that ball. As the halftime siren sounds, and it's Josh Williams with the ball. And there's a little bit of push and shove going on, and it mostly is centred around the Southport captain in Andrew Boston. And tempers a little bit frayed, it's fair to say. And the score, as players still continue to come together, now being separated somewhat. It's Southport by 21 points, 7-7-49 to Redland, 4-4-28. 3 goals apiece in that second quarter. And a really competitive game in that second quarter, and Redland can really look to, I suppose, get their game going in this second half. But they've showed some really positive signs from what we've seen in 2018. Southport, they're just chugging along, but again, they just need to be a little bit cleaner, and Redland, likewise. They've had some skill errors which have cost them. There's plenty of words exchanged as the two teams go into their huddles.
Yeah, a little bit of feeling out there for sure. But Redland, look, they are competitive, and we know that. We've seen that in previous seasons as well. Just lacking a little bit of the polish and class that I think Southport have, as you would expect from the defending premier. But it is a good contest. Redland are hanging in there and really keen to see what they produce in the second half and see if they can get a little bit closer to the Southport side.
And we'll go to the break in just a moment. And as we said, Southport by 21 points. We'll be back with you at half-time. We'll come in early and we'll talk about the goal kickers from the first half and possession getters as we're here. Round 1 of the NEAFL 2019. It is Southport and Redland, thanks to our broadcast partner, Bar TV. And welcome back to NEAFL TV. Thanks to our broadcast partner, Bar TV. It is round one of the 2019 NEAFL season. We are at the game at Fankhauser Reserve on the beautiful Gold Coast. Not a cloud in the sky, actually. The game between the Southport Sharks and the Redland Bombers at half-time. It is Southport 7-7-49, leading Redland 4-4-28. The lead is 21 points by my mathematical skills. Mark Kennedy is my name, and joining me is Jessica Webster, the NEAFL media manager. Jess, it was a competitive second half after Southport got out of the blocks. In second quarter, it was 3 goals apiece, but Southport got away to that little bit of a flyer in that first quarter.
Yeah, Redland, look, they're doing well to hang in there. So, obviously, the intensity lifted a little bit in that last quarter. So, let's see how they can start the third. But if you can get a real crack, Redland, let's see if they can just claw back that margin, because Southport at the moment are just having... they're just controlling it nicely, and they've got a little bit too much class and experience at the moment. So
leading possession getters, Andrew Boston's got 13. Shaw and Turner have got 10 apiece, while for Redland it is Adrian Williams and Rolls with 11 apiece from there. As we get underway, it's a free kick. It'll go the way of Andrew Boston. A little bit of feeling before half-time. Out there, he and Aaron Christensen had a little bit of a tangle. And there's a holding free kick that goes Boston's way. Just hoists it high, right to the forward 50. Mitch Johnson is the target. Rogers spoils it away from him. And the ball's under plenty, and we'll have a ball up right there on that 50.
So Southport, of course, wanting to start 2019 the way they ended 2018, the defending premiers. So from the ball up, clear and kick out to the outside wing. Clay Cameron's first to meet it. Fires a handball backwards to Keneally. And his kick couldn't find Spenson coming across with a defensive mark as Reece Clark, as we've seen time and time again from Clark. A great defender for the Sharks.
He's been solid as always. And here's another one that's been very solid. That's Ryan Davis. That kick's probably not his best effort, though. Just clears Rolls. And getting involved on that occasion was Williams. Chain of handballs will end up with Miller, involved in a very heavy clash in that second quarter with Jordan Turner, and we understand that he is a chance to come back on. He's got his head stitched up, but it's about 1.5 inches cut on his head, so plenty of stitches in there, and they're having trouble just stopping a little bit of the bleeding is what I'm understanding. So hopefully he is all good. That kick in is not a good one from Williams. It went straight to Clements, and Clements goes to Mitch Johnson. So not the start that Redland would want, and again the skill errors are letting them down on that occasion.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate for Redland. You can see the desires there, the competitiveness is there, but especially against a side like Southport, you can't afford to be turning it over as often as they have, because they will make you pay.
So Mitch Johnson, he's already got 2 for the afternoon, 7 kicks, and he steers it onto the goalpost. So I don't think he deliberately meant to steer on the goalpost here on the Gold Coast. A 1-point result, and Yagmore gets it off to Williams. Hopefully he can kick it to his teammate this time. Just tries to measure it, goes out wide, and just finds a teammate in Keneally.
Keneally at right half back for the Bombers. Just chips it over the top to Rolls. Marks just inside the boundary line. 4-time NEAFL Rising Star nominee is Rolls. And he delivers a pass to Cunnington. Back to Rolls. The little 1-2. Takes a bounce on the outer side wing. And then that is just 15 to Hamilman. He wants to switch it inboard, and it's a good kick to Baker, but he drops the mark. Kick had a little bit too much on it. Coming through is Stallard for the Bombers. And now chain of handballs ends with Batoli. Simmons doesn't quite get the connection on that kick. Out of bounds on the full. And Southport will reload from the back pocket.
Just a little untidy. A little untidy. There's no fault of the endeavour of the Redland Bombers, though. New game plan under new coach Phil Cars. They bring it back in, Southport. Just eluding a few there with Shea. Gets it to Matt Shaw. Shaw just chipping ball. Hall jumps high enough, which shouldn't be a problem. Then handballs. That was not his best effort. Mills to Rolls to Salter. And O'Sullivan did well. Baker just tries to fend a couple off, but right there is Shears and also Mantee. And a ball up will be called by the umpire. Half forward flank on this clubhouse side of the ground. Southport attack.
So margin 22 points. Cunnington with the clearance. Pops it inside 50. Huddy takes a good contested grab. Stuck the arm out. Gave himself a little bit of room.
What I really like about Jared Huddy on that occasion, especially when he's up forward, we're used to seeing him more so in the ruck, is he actually took the initiative in that marking contest and initiated that body contact to really clear the space to get his arms up early enough. Well done, Jared Huddy.
So Redland need him to finish off. It's Huddy on the approach, a left foot kick. We got a great look at that on NEAFL TV. Straight as an arrow. And Redland draw first blood in this third term. Southport 7-8-50. Redland 5-4-34.
Well, you wouldn't think that the big fella is the best kick getting around, but from hand to foot, that was just divine. And it was sweet. And straight off the boot, you knew that was going through for a goal. So very good execution. And if Redland can execute, which has been some of their issue this afternoon, in the same fashion that Jared Huddy did then, they'll be right in this game, actually. 16 points.
Well, they haven't allowed it to blow out at all at this stage. Southport obviously got off to a great start, and margin has hovered around that 3 to 4 goals for the majority of the match. So if they get a little bit of momentum, Kangas, what they need just to get 2 or 3 goals in a row, just to keep it interesting. They'll do wonders for their confidence.
27 points has been the biggest margin for the afternoon. Bit of shoving going on off the ball again. Turner just followed up from the ruck. Drives it down deep. The big fist came in from Mills. The ball over the back and running in for an easy goal there was Jamison Shea. It's not what they wanted. Redland that was, but Southport, that is what they wanted.
Yeah, I think the Bombers' defence, they just lost Shea in the end, I think. Ball came in, everyone had eyes for the footy and forgot the man out the back. They got the little sneaky handball from Baru. He had good vision to find him in the end.
I didn't quite pick up who that handball gave to Shea, and we don't... Sorry, it was from Baru, was it? Yeah, it was very good. Nice set of hands. But it was Turner with the follow-up efforts from the ruck that put the ball down inside forward 50. Tremendous effort from him.
So we're back out to 22 points. We've played nearly 7 minutes in this third term. So Southport with the quick reply on the Huddy goal is Malone. Palms it down to Fife. Handballs to Shaw. Mantee pops it, trying to find Fife, but Batoli Simmons comes in and chops it off. And he's got McGannon or Keneally. And it was Keneally who took the mark on that occasion. Wing position out of side. His kick was smothered, but he did well to gather it again. And then spears a kick to Hamilman on the lead, but he's probably a little bit too far from home. He wants to hit a target in the pocket, and he does. And it'll be Luke O'Sullivan who took the mark inside 50, right up against the boundary line. Tough kick from here.
It is a tough kick. And the way the breeze is coming, it'll be almost behind his back. Or sorry, it's coming across the ground, so I think he might just have to start at the left-hand goalpost here. Lines it up. That didn't look good off the boot at all and just sneaks in for a behind. So they march forward to Redland, but only by the solitary point. 21 points of difference. Roos goes out wide, finds Murdoch on that defensive 50. Off the one step. That is not his best effort, and that's out of bounds on the full. So Redland, they will have the opportunity to really put it down deep into their forward half and really put Southport under a bit of pressure if they're good enough.
So here's Yagmore. Sends it inside forward 50. Off hands, Damien Stephen. Handballs to Frank. Snap kick. Had a little bit too much on the bend. Another minor score there for the Bombers. Getting the ball inside forward 50. Southport still leading 32-16 inside 50s and clearances 18-8. So dominating around the ground. Bombers at least are hanging in there.
Yagmore off the ground. At ground level now, Batoli, Simmons, Fife is there as well. Manteet, Fife emerges with the ball. Feeds it backwards. Mackenzie Willis has Ruse. He's forced to go inside under the pressure of Caelan Baker. So, and Yagmore just lets Ruse know. A bit of a contest. And again, good to see some definitive changes in game plan from the Bombers this year. Huddy had front spot. Boston, right on top of him. It might be Cunnington on top of him, is it? Or is it Damien Stephen? We'll see him going to get up in a moment. Damien Stephen it is. So free kick. A little bit frustrated, Andrew Boston. There's a little bit of attention this afternoon. Good spoil there from Davis. Ruse just manages to get a handball away, but it's intercepted. Redland, not sure where to go. Adrian Williams, dangerous kick. That is a very dangerous kick, but it comes off.
And dangerous. Is it 50 as well?
Yep. Well done there by Adrian Williams. Put it to that dangerous spot. And it was Cunnington that will get up with the ball and right from the goal line be able to put a goal together for Redland.
Risky kick, but I like it. I want to see Redland try and take the game on here. And as Cunnington comes in for the easiest of goals, and all of a sudden the margin's back to 14 points.
Well, Redland, they keep on coming. And as I said, you'd like to see them really take the game on. And that's what we're starting to see. And a few things haven't come off this afternoon. They've cost themselves a few scores up the other end. But it's not through lack of effort, fortitude, and the way that they're trying to build a game plan and execute it this season. So well done to them thus far. We played nearly 11 minutes of this third quarter. The margin at 14. So very much game alive here at Fankhauser Reserve.
So we're back in the middle. Can Redland just get that 2 goals in a row that have eluded them? I'll have to double check, but I don't think they kicked 2 in a row all day. So Southport, though, win the clearance. Shears first to meet it, but he's set upon by 2 Bombers. But they've given away the free kick for holding on a little bit too much, I think. So Shears, he's got Manteet all alone on the centre wing position. He can take his time to find a target. Drives the kick into the pocket, one-on-one contest, and with the fist is Stallard. And it is a boundary throw-in, about 40 metres around from the Sharks' goal.
Well, they haven't kicked 2 goals in a row this afternoon. It'll be something they'll want to just progress in their game as the season unfolds. They are playing the reigning premiers in Southport. That's a short throw. It's down to Boston. Frank's applied the pressure, and that's out of bounds on the full. And just to go on with it, and Boston will get a free kick from a little bit of extra attention coming from Cunnington. Ball had been out of bounds, and then Cunnington went up and pushed him over. After that was well and truly done, so the ball will come back to Boston now.
Better get it back to him quickly. You almost gave away a 50 there.
Well, there's a little bit of confusion about where the kick should be taken, and it's a downfield free kick has been paid, and Dylan Fife will be the recipient. But the free kick was earned by Andrew Boston. Well, in fact, it's Johnson.
One has a body full of tats and the other one doesn't. Kanga?
Yeah, a little bit. They're both little stocky units. Johnson comes around on the left, across the face of goal. Adrian Williams is there. That's a free kick, too high, so he will take that free kick. In fact, it was Big Malone.
So Malone has Miller in the pocket. Takes the mark just inside the boundary line. Running hard is Williams. Receives the handball against the boundary line. Goes up the wing. Ball spills over the pack. Clark out the back for Southport to mop up. And he kicks backwards in the Tom Fields direction. He's got Matt Shaw across the ground and he finds him. Just gets around Christensen. Goes back inboard and hits Murdoch. Inside the centre square. He wants to switch it back out to the outer side and Davis is all alone. Goes further down the wing and finds Kai Shears. Southport just crisscrossing the vast spaces at Fankhauser Reserve. She's inside 50. Baru drops the mark. Fife front and centre, but he's wrapped up in a tackle. And that'll be a ball up just inside forward 50 for the Sharks.
Appeal for the free kick did Fife. A little bit critical of Aaron Christensen down here with Matt Shaw. He should have corralled him, and instead he let Shaw around him so that they could get that bit of flow from half back. Ball just inside forward 50. Pushed out quickly. It was Murdoch in the path of Shea. Baru just can't quite get anything clean away. The ball ends up back with him and he still can't clasp it. Williams is there for Redland and it's stuck under plenty. The umpire will ball it up. Entertaining clash. Earlier winners this afternoon. We had Sydney University beat Aspley by 47 points. The Gold Coast Suns went down by 11 points to Canberra. Ball stays in. Williams brings it around. And the Sydney Swans get up over the Giants. And I'll just get 29 points was the margin there. One game to come later on tonight is the Brisbane Lions travelling up to Darwin to take on the NT Thunder for their respective first games of the year. Ball back into play. Over the back there was Josh Hall. We'll do it all again. A couple of surprising results there for mine, Jess. Round one, Sydney University over Aspley. Aspley looked very good in the pre-season.
Yeah, they did. And saying that, Sydney University with a young side had pretty good results in their practice games, but you never know until the real stuff happens. So I would be extremely pleased with that victory against Aspley today as Manteet handballs to Ford, chips it over the top, and he's got a man in space in Jack O'Shea. And he will line up for a shot on goal. It'll take all of 50 metres for this one.
He's looking at goal. I don't think he's looking for his cousin.
So O'Shea on the approach. That one's not going to have the accuracy. 3 for a minor score. So Southport 8-9-57 lead. The Bombers 6-6-42. Margins 15 points and we're halfway through the third term.
Redland bring it back in to the clubhouse side of the ground. Big Malone is there. Just can't take it through his hands. Gives Turner the opportunity. Clements goes back to Miller, to Clark, now to Murdoch. Now they'll set up from behind the ball here. Right in the centre circle is Davis. Now to Boston. Boston goes out wide to Tape. Tape on the left, just chipping the ball around. They've got space. On this occasion is Williams. And that's for Southport at least. And that little chipping ball was hoping for Baru. And it just juggled over the line. So that will be a throw-in. And probably they just could have been a bit more direct there, Southport, the way they were going about it.
They've locked it in the forward half of the ground. So let's see if they can manufacture a goal out of this. Malone and Turner in the ruck. But that ball's going nowhere. And Batoli Simmons lays the tackle on Roos, and we will have a ball up 35 metres out from goal.
Big Malone, he's had 22 hit-outs this afternoon. That's 23. Trying to come through there was Boston and wrapped up by one of his gloves. He's had a couple today. Cunnington's been one and Bailey's been another one. And it's the ladder right there with him. Ball spilled over the boundary line. A bit of scrutiny to come Andrew Boston's way, I would think. Incident before half-time. Good hit out, finds Manteet and down to Clements. And just squeezes it through for a goal. Well done. We are just going to go through. Yes, it is a goal. A little bit of contention between the field and the goal umpire to see if it was touched or not. And it was not, so the goal stands to Rob Clements. And again, Southport just kick away that extra goal. And the margin out to 21 points. In fact, it was Manteet with the goal. Got it from Clements, I should have said. Did I get that right?
I actually thought it was Clements. It was definitely Clements with the kick.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some champion data. I'm sure they'll fix it up.
We'll back ourselves, Kanga.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. So 21 points is the margin. That much we do know. Leading possession getters Andrew Boston, 15 possessions. Shaw's had 14, and this is all for Southport. Manteet's had a dozen, likewise Turner, to go with his 10 hit-outs. And for Redland, Adrian Williams has had 16, Rolls 13, and Hamilman 11.
So approaching time on in the third quarter from the restart. Shaw handballs to Roos. And delivers a pinpoint pass to Clements. Wants to get around Stallard. It's a great defensive tackle by Stallard. Did extremely well there to stop Clements in his tracks and forces a 50-50 contest with the ball in. That was the difference I think you were saying before with the Aaron Christensen play about corralling. Stallard did that to absolute perfection then. Clements is a speedy type, but Stallard did extremely well to stop him in his tracks.
So ball back into play. Malone took front spot. I think he almost tried to grab it there. Down to Rolls. Rolls just hoists it high. Middle of the ground. Cameron went high. Looking for that mark of the year from a couple of years back. An absolute cracking mark that was. In there is Damien Stephen. Also there is Miller. We'll have a ball up.
One of the best marks I've ever seen, I think. Kangaroo, and you called that one at Graham Road. It was round 6, 2017, if my memory serves me correctly.
Absolutely correct. Not that I remember, but the NEAFL media manager always remember these things. I just agree with her. Baker tries to emerge with the ball for Redland. Just working through as the ball was on the ground was Tate. Did it well inside forward 50. Which way is it going to bounce? Mitch Johnson does well. Feeds the ball over. And just look for the 1-2. Didn't quite work out. Now we've got a little bit of traffic and plenty of bodies around the contest. And it might have been Ford who was just looking to get the ball back there. Just didn't quite work out.
Having a look down on the boundary line, Kangaroo, and Jordan Taylor looks like he's ready to come back on, sporting a headgear. So he's had that head stitched up. There was a lot of blood coming from...
And Boston, I'll just interrupt you there, because he got it from the scrimmage, was going on the tight angle, went with the left, which made it even more difficult. And that is, I'd suggest, a NEAFL goal of the day so far. Andrew Boston. As Jordan Taylor comes back onto the ground. Sorry, Jess, I had to get back to the play, but it's great to see Jordan Taylor back on the ground.
I should have been paying more attention, Kangaroo. I do apologise, but yeah, great to see Jordan Taylor back. He's so courageous, and when I saw that collision earlier in the game, I thought surely he's concussed, but he's obviously passed all the required tests. They stitched him up, and he says I'm right to go. So,
and good to see Champion Data have adjusted it. Rob Clements got that previous goal. Andrew Boston, the one before. Thanks to our good friends at Champion Data, do a sterling job.
So 27 points the margin. It is the equal highest margin of the day. So Redland done well to not let it blow out as Rolls wins the clearance. Inside 50. Coming out is Spence. He can't gather it. Taylor with the handball. Over the top to Davis. Little chipping kick finds Boston. So Boston chips it again and finds Shaw against the boundary line. Just measures a kick down the line, but coming through with the timely fist is McGannon. We will have a throw in between wing and half forward on this commentary side.
You'd suggest that Redland really need to kick the next goal now. If it blows out past 30 points, it's going to be a long way back. So crucial stage of the game. Huddy over the top, Fife at ground level. Well, he is pretty close to the ground anyway, and he'll win the free kick, Will Fife. So well done to him. Free kick goes against Baker. So Fife, the Tasmanian, just chips it back, finds Miller. Serviceable at half-back. Pointing out to the clubhouse side of the ground was Davis, and he went that way and found Fife again. A short little ball finds Mackenzie Willis. He's not a stack of it today, Mackenzie Willis. Just the 8th disposal. Finds Clements now right in the middle of Fankhauser Reserve.
So Clements, nice kick to Davis, still inside the centre square. And he's got O'Shea on the lead. Kick had too much on it, and marking is McGannon for the Bombers. So looking around, assessing his options. Likes to go to the outer side. In the O'Sullivan direction, coming through with the spoilers tape. And squats it over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in.
think we've seen too much of Hamilman this quarter. And, not too much of Cameron, because the ball largely has been down in Southport's attacking half of the ground. More so in the last 10 minutes even. Huddy gets it down. Franks is right on the boundary line, just kicks it straight into the leg of Fife. Clements, he's caught holding the ball, so a good tackle there by Bailey. Bailey, that's not a good kick. And again, some foot skill letting them down. Matt Shaw, he just kicks it, dangerous spot. Hall's there, but at the back was Stallard, just judged it a bit better.
Stallard looks to go out wide. Callum Baker, he'll have 2 to beat, and coming through is Davis with the fist. Belts it over the boundary line, and we will have a throw in. Just
nonchalantly just jogs off too, Davis, after just knocking him down like 9 pins.
Saw it coming from a mile away, didn't you? Oh, Baker's got a bit of work to do here.
Yeah, Baker and Baru bowled over all the bees. Johnson gets a quick kick away for Southport. There is Salter. Haven't seen a lot of him. And just good tackle there by Shears. Gives Ford the opportunity, who can goal and puts it out to a new game high, 33 points. And we said if Southport got the next one, it would be a long way back for Redland. And that's what it might prove to be, as we have 25 minutes gone in this third quarter.
He was actually O'Shea with the tackle on Mills there. It just forced the turnover. And Southport, again, you can just see how well drilled they are and how good they are on the rebound, I should say. And just edging ever so slightly further in front, and approaching three-quarter time. They're in a fairly dominant position here, Southport.
A re-round, I think. Looking at me before the game started and hadn't seen me in the off-season, so it's making fun at my new shape. A re-round.
No.
Thank you, Jess.
Promise I'm not, Kanga.
26 minutes gone. Third quarter. We'll discuss this off air at three-quarter time. Turner and Malone. Give it to Malone. Free kick will go the way of Southport again. And it's in the middle, and a little bit of holding off the ball. And it'll go the way of Turner. So I think it was Malone put his arm out. It was a fend, an illegal fend or block. Turner just hoists it down long. Hall went high, couldn't bring it down. Mills dived at the ball. Johnson, little sneaky handball through. Shea can't take it with him. Williams is down there. He can't hold on to it. Ball just ground level. Johnson just overran it himself. Williams under pressure, just squeezes the ball out into the path and to the benefit of young Kennelly. And he just happy to take the ball over the line. So they've escaped from their defence at this stage, but they're under enormous pressure. Redland, margin 33 points, 27 minutes gone.
Malone wins free spot, palms it down to Stephen, handballs to Rolls. He's tackled by Williams, and it's a turnover. Ruse to Manteet, inboard to Murdoch. Gets around one, elects to switch it inboard to Tape. Murdoch keeps running, receives the hands. And handballs to Shaw. And back again to Miller. Just stops momentarily, sends a kick into the pocket. Flying at the back was Fife. And then gets the hands out in the Boston direction, close to the boundary line, goes backwards to Manteet. He tries to spot up Ruse, picks it up on the half volley. Back inside forward 50, the Sharks go. Malone misjudged it. Johnson with the tap over the back, but there's a whistle on play. And it's a push going Redland's way.
And it's going, the umpire hasn't put his arm up, but I assume it's going Southport's way because remonstrating is Adrian Williams, so it's clearly against him and going the way of Emmanuel Baru.
That's why I wasn't sure when he put the hand up signalling Redland's way. I thought, obviously got it wrong, but it is going Southport's way. Baru will have a shot on goal. Obviously, Redland defenders aren't happy with that one.
Yeah, Baru, and he's been a little bit lively. Only the 6 possessions, but he looks dangerous around the ball.
He just misses that one to the left. On debut is Emmanuel Baru, of course, coming from the Suns Academy, part of their under-19 squad last year, playing his first game for his new club in Southport unfortunately couldn't get his first goal.
Yeah, he is a former Southport junior and Labrador player in the quaffle, though. So up the middle of ground go Redland, to no avail because Southport come away with it yet again. Ruse gets back on the ball, starting to accumulate. Here is Williams for Southport. And that is a nice mark there by Yagmore. He was a third man in, and he came down with nice, clean hands. And it's back. Williams is the man with the ball. That's Adrian Williams. Rolls. Quick handball over the top. Seb Rogers. They have a man free on the outer side. They find him now, although it didn't go very nicely to him. McGannon dispossessed. Hall, little dinky kick into the path of Mitch Johnson. Gets it up. Matt Shaw gets around one. Just wheels around. Goes for goal. Just across the face. And taking the mark was Shea. Jamison Shea. The man from Footscray. Tight angle. Going to go with the check side. And does it nicely by my way of looking through my peepers. So another goal to Southport. They move out to a 40-point margin. And we talked about Redland staying in touch and challenging. Now we're talking about them really preventing a bit of a blowout as they move off to a 40-point lead, 12-10, 82 to 6-6, 42.
Well, Southport at the Redland at the 10.5 minute mark of this quarter got within 14 points, and since then it's 4 goals in a row to Southport, approaching three-quarter time. Jamison Shea with 3 goals. I mentioned it earlier, he'd be a wonderful pickup for Southport, and he's proving that today. But margin is getting a bit ugly now for Redland. They've done so well, though, in the first 3 quarters. It would be a shame for it to blow out. So let's see if they can just hold on in these last few moments and give it a good crack in the last term.
9 players for Southport in double figures possession-wise and just 3 for Redland. Possessions overall 258 to 173, so it's had a far greater weighted ball. Malone, the mailman, delivers it express into the forward 50. Waiting back there, though, is Murdoch. Just kicks it out wide, looking for the run of Shaw. Right there is with him is Salter, as he has been all day, but Shaw does well. Gets it off to Mackenzie Willis. Former teammates at the Suns, over Stallard's head, goes back there and tries to get involved. Seb Rogers, he just drops what he probably should have held on to, spent it before he got it. And that was Clements, pushed in the back, it looked like, by Stallard, but play on's the call. Bailey, back to Scott Miller. They're messing around with it still. Mitch Johnson put a saddle on his opponent, just sitting on him, saying that'll make a good Instagram photo if you oil me up, as he likes to do. He's very good on the Instagram, is Mitch Johnson. On this occasion, though, the umpire says, no photos, let's just get on with the game.
All right, so from the ball up, we'll find ourselves with the ball in.
Did you follow what I was saying there, Jess? Very big on the Instagram. He's got an enormous amount of followers, does Mitch Johnson. Just to put that into context, loves getting the guns out. Does a fair bit of work in the gym. Pretty happy with himself. Ball back in. Let Jess Webster collect herself. And Hayden Batali-Simmons is happy to have the ball over the line. 32 minutes gone in this third quarter. 40 points the margin in favour of Southport.
So Southport have the majority of the play in this third term and heaped on the scoreboard pressure. So can they find one more before three-quarter time? It's Baru, gets on the end of it, throws it on the boot, right to the line. It's fisted over the line for a minor score. Southport 12-11-83, Redland 6-6-42. Not long left before three-quarter time.
Nearly 9,500 followers on Instagram, Mitch Johnson. Some very interesting photos too. I will say last year it was actually Jess Webster alerted me to that page. Ball back into play. Boston goes over the top of his Redland opponent. It gets his handball away to Salter. They've got a bit of space now. Aaron Christensen on the outer wing, looking for a target. Over the top of Hamilman, looking for Clay Cameron. Just impacts the contest. There was Fields right with him and just can't quite get it across half forward effectively enough to really push it down deep to give themselves scoring opportunities. They get held up constantly at the moment, Redland.
Southport are notorious good finishers, particularly last year. They just know how to run the games out pretty well. And they're showing that again today. Just got too much firepower at the moment from Redland. As Fife, high up and under kick. Along the outer side wing. Clements comes through and collects the footy. Handballs backwards to O'Shea. Backwards again to Willis. Just under pressure with the kick, and it only goes as far as Batoli Simmons. Right half back for the Bombers.
Batoli Simmons looks like just playing in a different type of role. We've seen him up forward. We've seen him a little bit through the more familiar midfield, and now he's at half back. So interesting to see how his season unfolds, and that's probably not the best kick there from Seb Rogers on his former home ground. Looking for Caleb Baker, couldn't find him.
So Keely's coming off the ground, Kangaroo. He doesn't look in a good way.
So it might be an ankle or a knee, certainly a leg injury the way they're carrying him off. Looks like a right leg for mine. Ball back into play. Malone had front spot, gives it down to Franks. Good smother there by Hall. Just got the one Duke down to get it on the Sharon and just knock it over the boundary line. Left leg for, looks like a bit of cramp actually for Keneally. Round one, that'll do it to you. Turner back into play, give him that hit out short, just paddles it along, and then Manteet is bustled off the ball. A little bit of feeling, but Cunnington and he both get up and they'll walk across to their respective huddles. And it's three-quarter time here in this round one clash of the NEAFL. And it is Southport. They are 41-point leaders over the Redland Bombers. It was a 5-2 third quarter. Let's put a bit of a space in the margin here. Leading possession getters. Matt Shaw has 20 possessions for Southport. Andrew Boston 18, and then 13 to Turner. I really liked his game. Not so much in the ruck, but the way his follow-up work. Also kicked a goal, and then a dozen for Mitch Johnson, Michael Manteet and Brodie Murdoch. And for Redlands, it is 19 disposals for Adrian Williams, including 9 marks, 17 for Jack Rolls. And Matt Hamilman, he's got 11 disposals to go with his 3 goals too. The only other real goal kicker for Redland is a couple of singles there, Batoli Simmons, Cunnington and Huddy. And for Southport goal kickers, it is a couple to Mitch Johnson, singles to Manteet, Murdoch. There's 3 to Jamison Shea. He's been very lively up forward. Clements and Fields have got 1 each, as has Charlie Ford. So 41 points is the margin at the last break. We'll be back with the last quarter here on NEAFL TV. Thanks to our broadcast partner, Bar TV, as the players head to their respective huddles. And we're back from three-quarter time. Players emerging from the huddle back to their positions. It's Southport in this round 1 2019 clash here in the NEAFL. They are leading Redland by 41 points. Mark Kennedy joined by the freshly recovered Jess Webster. And Jess, Redland had their opportunity in that third quarter, but Southport have really flexed their muscles.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was a 5-2 third term. Of course, Redland got within 14 points, but Southport finished off the quarter strongly and have a pretty unassailable lead at the moment. But let's see what Redland can conjure in this last quarter.
Well, hopefully they take a lot of chances. Malone gets it going forward, follows up his good work, gets a kick inside forward 50. It was a wobbly conveyance in there, but well judged in the finish by Ryan Davis, who put it to his chest. Short little kick to Ruse. He's had a stack of it, Ruse, but he's been serviceable. This is possession number 12, according to Champion Data. That's not his best kick. Just a little bit dangerous, but Clark comes away with it, off to Fife. Fife off one step, just hoists it high. The ruckman come, and well done there by Malone, and then plays on. O'Sullivan gives another chance, but just chiming in there was Fields, who was touched off the boot, so he goes, and Clements in the middle of the ground, they're away.
Clements has Shears in space on the outer side wing. Chips it over the top. Got a man running in Willis. Called to play on by the umpire. So he handballs backwards to Fife. He goes even further backwards to Clark. And they'll elect to switch here, the Sharks. Davis at true centre-half back position. And he's got Tom Fields all alone here on the commentary side wing, and he can take off. Christensen will close him down. Takes 2 bounces. And then kicks it up to the half-forward direction to Jamison Shea. But coming through with the fist was Adrian Williams, and we will have a throw-in right where the 50-metre line intersects the boundary.
Just looking out there for Jordan Taylor. I think he might have, they might have iced him up for the afternoon, perhaps. I can't see him on the bench at the moment, so I think he might be done. Of course, had a big collision in the second quarter and a big gash in his head. Boston gets the ball up, and he finds Williams for Southport. Inside forward 50. Clements is there. Impacts the contest, although illegally, says the umpire. And it'll be Baker for Redland that gets up. Might have got a bit of a corky, I'd suggest, in that collision. So just looking for something short. Finds Adrian Williams. Goes out wider. Stallard gets around Baru. There's a low kick. It doesn't find its target. Clark, he gets it for Southport. Goes up towards O'Shea. Can't get it. Over the top, around the corner. Just gathered it with the one hand and threw it on the boot. That was Kai Shears. And just to the wrong side of the stick as Stallard brings it back in. Although not real well, because Clark impacts the contest. Yagmore. Salter. And then away here. And away they go through Rolls.
So Rolls fakes the handball and then has a bounce. Drills a pass in the Hamilman direction, but misread that one. Davis takes a defensive mark. Kicks to Ruse, switches to Fife, and now Southport on the rebound. Fife has one bounce. Little chips the kick. It was a smart kick in the end to find Jamison Shea at true centre-half forward. And he short pass inside 50. I don't think Tate was expecting it, maybe. Dropped the mark. Mills coughs it up. Southport still a chance. Shears, he'll get a free kick there for too high. Just grab the jumper around the neck.
I'll tell you what, there's just the amount of sheer clangers, I suppose, that Redland have put through has made it hard. As just absolutely bombing it was Reece Clark. And he just got the ball on the 50, or outside the 50, about 55 out, and just unloaded on the left foot. That went like a missile. As soon as he hit it, he knew he had the distance, and straight through for a goal. So Southport, they open the account in the last quarters on the goals column at least anyway, when they put the margin out to 48 points.
Clark, he's a star in that Southport defence. We always talk about Ryan Davis and particularly Tyler Ruse last year just getting the sheer weight of possession, but Clark, he's He's great one-on-one. His effort, I mean, you just saw it out there on the outer side when he sort of had a smother or a tackle and just his follow-up efforts and then flows forward and kicks the goal. He's an absolute star and is a valuable member of that Gold Coast Southport Sharks defence. So back in the middle, Willis with the clearing kick towards half forward, but Williams takes a good contested grab over Shape. Williams has been excellent for Redland today. I think a moment ago it was leading their disposals, but that kick has put his teammate under pressure. Will it be holding the ball? No, the umpire says let's throw it up.
Yeah, it's just the fact that I suppose they've amount of clangers, so they've had 22 clangers, 18 by foot Redland today, and it's cost them. They've been in some horrible positions. Stallard just picks it up and bustles through a couple, gets it outside their defensive 50 at least. Hamilman comes to meet the ball. Batoli Simmons is on hands and knees going at the footy. Rolls to Salter. Little kick. Direct turnover. That was to Murdoch. Up high was Mitch Davis. Comes down. Has another go. Gets the handball out to Manteet. Round the corner. And that just bounces before it goes over the line. Went across the face of goal. And the ball will be thrown in next to the behind post.
So we played 5 minutes in this last quarter, only the one goal to Southport. So they're still trying hard, Redland. They're fighting right to the end, but just being outclassed at the moment by Southport as Williams tries to find some space in defence. That's almost holding the ball, and it is. That'll be a free kick going to Michael Manteet, I believe was the man who laid the tackle.
Well, it was just the sheer numbers, and Adrian Williams just tried to burst through a couple. And well wrapped up. He had plenty of help, Manteet, in terms of the tackling abilities, but he'll come up with the ball shoot for goal.
Manteet, the reigning best and fairest winner for Southport. That is not his best kick from 30 metres out, almost directly in front. Through for a minor score. But Southport well on top here at the moment. 13-13-91. Redland 6-6-42 as Yagmore brings it back in for the Bombers.
Goes out wide, finds Clay Cameron. Not sure where to go. Talked about it. This is where they probably have the most trouble getting it, that transition from defence through the middle of the ground. They've had just the 22 inside 50s today. Big clash at half back there. Getting up gingerly was Aaron Christensen. Salter puts it down to half forward, but Southport have the numbers. Chain of handballs. Fields got it from Shaw. Gave it to Reece Clark, who's recently kicked the goal. Josh Hall's back there to help. And now the midfield cavalry in Ruse. Goes out wide. That's not a good kick because it was a 2-on-1, two Redland players. But Manteet still somehow comes away with the ball coming through there. Picking it up very nicely was Josh Williams. Williams goes up inside forward 50 and Mitch Johnson will clean it up and he can shoot for goal number 3.
They're impressive, aren't they, to watch Southport? Just always keep on that pressure and so good on the rebound. So Johnson will have an attempt at goal number 3 this afternoon.
Well, they do have match winners all over the ground, don't they? They're steady in defence and they can play at varying degrees of height and pace and cover that. And of course, their midfield is fearsome. And then you've got the small forwards who can do some damage as well. Mitch Johnson, second post for him today. 2 goals, 3 he's kicked.
I think what made Southport so dominant last year was that they led the competition in contested possessions, yet didn't have an individual in the top 10. It goes to show that they just won it all over the ground. And they didn't have sort of one person that was responsible for winning all the clearances or winning all the hard balls. They had just such a good contested ball winning side all over the park, and that's what made them a premiership winning team.
That's right. Good spoil there by Josh Hall. The ball out of bounds. Huddy and Hall will do combat yet again. A real clear winner. Ball close to the boundary line. Just feeding it back there was Boston. Manteet just turns on a dime and gets the ball inside forward 50, but on this occasion Mills can mop it up. Goes quickly to Salter. It's a better release of the football, but now they've got nothing to go to. So they need this next option. This is where they get stuck. Williams runs for Salter, but called to play on because it didn't go the required distance. Dangerous handball. Will they come away with it? Well done there. Now Cameron. Now to Keneally. Short little kick comes off, and Aaron Christensen, I should say, on the outer wing. Just finds the ball. Batoli Simmons a little bit further afield, but still a long way from home.
Switches inboard to Clay Cameron in space. Switches it further to the centre of Fankhauser Reserve and finds McGannon. He's got a man out in space on the wing, and Scott Miller. So just playing some possession tempo footy here, Redland. Inboard to Keneally. He came off earlier with a leg injury, but he's back out there. All good to go. Drives a kick inside 50. Southport have this one covered, although drop mark. Christensen handballs in the space of Hamilman. He can't gather. Ruse mops up for Southport. Handballs over the top to Boston. And Southport are almost out of trouble. That little handball there. Redland were closing with the pressure and forces a boundary throw in.
Just can't quite. I mean, Seb Tape actually probably dropped what he should have taken there and gave Redland an opportunity, but a bit of a kick in hope inside forward 50 on that occasion from Redland. There's no real direction. Malone and also Hall were there. Well done there by Bailey. Gets it to Batoli Simmons. Off the one step. They've got plenty of numbers back there, Southport. Christensen closes in on it, but falls over the last minute. Murdoch and teammates combine just to get it out to Ruse. Ruse inboard. Mackenzie Willis. He's got a bit of space to move, and they can open it up here. Baru's got plenty of space if it gets to him. Salter just does well, but he goes down on hands and knees. Allows Baru to get back to front spot. A little bit of push and shove. The cavalry arrive, and just pulled off it was Matt Shaw, so he'll win the free kick. And Southport win the day yet again. Just these one-on-one contests, they've been far more effective and win these hard ball gets and even out in their broken play.
So Shaw out wide. Coming through with a fist is Yagmore. Goes in with a second effort, but Charlie forward with that tackling pressure. Forces the turnover. Tape spots up Shaw, goes backwards, and then hits Clements on the lead, drops the mark, but second effort. Under pressure though, rolls. Yagmore just throws it on the boot, gets it out of there. Unfortunately, straight down to Clark, drops what he should have taken. Hamilman off the deck, dribbles one inside 50, but there's absolutely no one home, and Davis will relieve the pressure for the Sharks. Cross to Fife, who then hits Hall on the lead.
This is where they're going to be a bit dangerous here, I think, Southport, because they've just got this bit of broken play. They've got numbers over. They've got a man free in the middle. Boston comes out to meet it. Well done, Adrian Williams. He just intercepted Franks. Now Salter in the middle of the ground. Picks up a nice half volley. The little short pass, though, just didn't go to where his man was. Critical. At least I am, and I'm sure Phil Cars will be, as Ford brings it the other way, and Manteet leads up at the footy and takes a mark. In front of Batoli Simmons, they go on looking for the space, and just finding a bit of separation is Mitch Johnson from his man, and he can go back and shoot, probably in a better position to get his third. 2 goals, 3 for the afternoon. The difference in play there, waiting for the ball and going up to meet it. And I suppose these little chipping balls that some of the Redland players have done just haven't found the teammate coming forward at them, or the communication to understand to know to go over the top. So Johnson comes in, shoots it, and scores it. So 3 goals for Mitch Johnson. Puts the margin out now to 56 points. The difference, and it is getting to, I suppose, real wind down time, junk time here, as we've played nearly 14 minutes in this last quarter. And Mitch Johnson's been serviceable, but he's certainly had the benefit of some good, I suppose, some good possession coming his way as well.
Looking ahead to next week, Kanga Redland hosts Canberra Demons at Scottsdale Park. What do you think they need to do to, what do you think they can learn from this game against, obviously, the defending Premier, where they've shown in patches that they are a very good football side, haven't been able to string it together for 4 quarters. What do you think they need to do next week? Well,
I think it's just shoring up their possession, and also I think they're going to be far better off the likes of Spence, McGannon, Cunnington and the like, just who are playing their first NEAFL games, and I think they're going to understand what the standard is, and Canberra are going to be no mean feat to try and beat, even on their home deck at Redland. So Boston just gets the ball out. Shaw does likewise. Damien Stephen comes through, gets it to Malone, who gives it to Batoli Simmons under pressure. Turner, Ruse, now to Fields. Fields just says, let's get it out of here. Plenty of players around there. Up to the forward 50. Mills bats it away from Baru. Getting a hand in there was Malone. Now Miller comes through with a bit more purpose. A build up here, Cunnington. It's it to half forward. O'Sullivan's there. They've got people running past. Goes laterally. Finds Stallard. Now they've got players on. It's a little bit more of a better build-up, but they need to hit targets. Rolls. Puts it into the path of a teammate in O'Sullivan. Cunnington has his kick smothered. It ricochets back to Stephen. They're just starting to mess around with it here, albeit under some Southport pressure. And now they'll cough it up. Southport, they'll get it out. Clever tap on by Shaw. Finds Tape, who finds Manteet, and they're away. And they've got numbers. They've got lots of numbers. Clements goes out wide. They'll run it over the top. Johnson gives it off to Shears. They mess it up. It's not over yet, though. They can redeem themselves. I'm sure Mitch Johnson shouldn't have done that, but he redeems. I think he was on his phone looking how many extra Instagram followers he was getting as he flexed his muscles, as he gave the biceps a workout to try and give it to Shears. But it comes off nonetheless.
He tried to do the right thing and give his teammate a goal. He said, I've already got 3. How about you have 1? Got it back again, though. It was almost comical.
Well, we saw that in the AFL the other week, didn't we?
Yeah.
Tex Walker gave a first gamer a handball. Sorry? Oh, Tom Hawkins it was at Geelong. Yeah, that one came off nicely. But that one, not so much. The result still stood, but it was a comedy of errors nonetheless.
Free kick off the ball for, I think, a 666 infringement.
That's right. I think they had 7 in their attacking half, did Redland. So things not going right. Boston goes short to Ruse, and he's got it in the middle of the ground.
So Ruse hits up Clark just outside forward 50, or Shaw, I think it is. The long hair. Into the pocket, Manteet. Mills comes through and spoils. Salter mops up and chips it over the top to Rolls. Left half back for the Bombers. Players streaming forward. Tries to find a target, and he does in Christensen. Marks ahead of Turner. Inboard to Bailey. A little bit of pressure on him there by Clements. Bailey goes back out wide to Salter. Just chipping it around, trying to hold possession of the Bombers, but I think a lot ahead of him is Salter. Very crowded. Southport have got their numbers back, so he just has to elect to go to a contest. Off hands, Malone can't mark. Christensen applies the tackle on Fields, but he's given away a free kick for a push in the back.
He's hurt a shoulder too, Aaron Christensen. He looked a bit proppy up on the wing. We're still trying to get involved. Fields doesn't quite hit his target. Has Shaw, though, with plenty of time. Boston, likewise, comes out laterally towards the clubhouse side of the ground. Finds Shea. Jamison Shea goes to Fife, who just came off the bench. Whoops. And he just dropped what he should have taken. He got a bit ahead of himself. Shea just sells a little bit of candy to Miller and then delivers it to his Irish cousin in O'Shea. Been waiting for that all day. They're not probably cousins, but I'm happy to run with that. And just doing a bit of extra work there. Well done by Williams. Just got Mitch Johnson off the ball. Mills delivers it to O'Sullivan. And at half back, they can give it to Franks. And Franks, with a little bit of space, hopefully delivers.
And he does just that. Finds Christensen in a bit of space. He wheels around, wants to hit Clay Cameron. Drops just short. Now he's got 2 to beat. Davis comes through. Under pressure by Cameron, but he's good enough to get around as Davis. Gets a little 1-2. And then ball's over the top. Against the boundary line is Fields. To a 2-on-1. Clements comes through. Collects the footy. Now handballs to Josh Williams inside the centre square. Puts it into the pocket. Williams comes through with a defensive fifth and now it's a one-on-one with Johnson. Who can win this battle? Williams against Johnson. Williams tries to tap it to advantage and mops up. He does very well to Stella, but he's under pressure. Handballs backwards in the Rogers direction. He gathers it. Little grubber kick along the ground. Stephen tries to trap it. Handballs over the top to Bailey, and it's a high against Stephen, and it will come back. Adrian Williams did well against that contest with Johnson.
Well, and what I really like about it is the second, third and fourth efforts, both of Johnson and Williams. There's a good piece of play. O'Sullivan to Franks. Franks have got players on here. Hamilman's there. Good spoil there on that occasion by the Southport defence. And coming away with it as well, the Sharks. And Clements has got a paddock on the outer wing. Couple of bounces, just deciding what to do. Handballs over the top of McGannon to Emmanuel Baru. Baru just kicks it down, and the work rate of Mitch Johnson continues, and something that will be very pleasing to coach Stephen Daniels will be the work rate of Mitch Johnson on that occasion.
It's just like Southport as a whole, it's just so hard to stop them. They're so good defensively. They know just how to stop those attacking forays, transition the ball really well, find space and hit up targets inside their forward 50. The game plan is working a treat in the opening round as they defend their 2018 title.
So Mitch Johnson comes in. 4 goals, 3. Just chips it over the top, and that is a handful for Mitch Johnson. 18 possessions, 7 marks. And 8 shots a goal. 5 goals, 3 is the result of those. And Southport are just kicking right away. Mitch Johnson's kicked the last 3 goals of the game. And in this quarter, it's been 4 goals to zip all the Sharks' way as they make a statement on the competition that they are here again with a force.
Absolutely, and leading the possession winners for Southport, Matt Shaw, 26 and 4 clearances. Again, one of the biggest pickups in the off-season. He's former Gold Coast and Carlton swingman.
Well, he and Mackenzie Willis directly off AFL lists,
and
which
Josh
is
Williams as well.
And Josh Williams. So you know it's a plethora, and that means a lot of talent to come straight in. So the ball out. Well on there by one of the men we talked about. Williams gets it back to Murdoch, to Shaw, out to Clements. Clements goes short, back to Josh Williams. And now they're held up. It's forward to centre. They have numbers though. I'm just happy to mess around with it a little. The kick wasn't the best, but Matt Shaw makes it look good. Just turns around Yagmore, and then a little short chipping ball inside was meant for Clements, but Malone got in the way. So well done, Redlands, on cutting it off on that occasion.
So rolls, left half back for the Bombers. Tries to find Salter. Kick had too much on it, and Murdoch now with the turnover for the Sharks. Has room to move, drills a pass inside 50 and finds Clements in space. Will he have the shot on goal or look to pass it off Kanga?
Does he have the journey? Can hit the odd rather large ball. He gives it to Murdoch though. And awry it is.
Right idea though. Murdoch does have a bit of a boot on him. Unfortunately on that occasion though, not good enough. So Redland with the rebound. O'Sullivan drops the mark. Shaw applies the pressure. Now it's spilled out to Hall. Squares the kick to Johnson. McGannon with the fist falls to Williams. And he kicks it out of his defensive 50, but straight to Seb Tape. Drops what he should have taken. Now he's under pressure by Keneally. Wrapped in a 360, and that is holding the ball. Rather than lucky to get away with that one because Tape should have gobbled that up. Keneally will take the free kick. Send it out wide to McGannon. Back in board. That kick is not a good one to Rogers. Now just has to hack it out of there. Over the head of Christensen, dribbles over the boundary line for a throw-in.
It's one of those things, isn't it, that the ability to keep possession has been a real failing of Redland today, and something that Phil Cars will look to really attend to a training this week. Rolls to Clay Cameron, under pressure, gets the kick forward, finds Aaron Christensen. So about 55 metres from goal. It's a short one, finds Clay Cameron there. And this goes on quickly, it's around. 2-on-1 in the goal square. And a cheap goal coming up. Well, in fact, it was a push. It was a block on the marking contest. The kick went the way of field. He got it to shore. Going down there was Mills. Getting up quickly, or not even falling over there, was Clements. He's just that short. I thought he might have fallen over. Gets it over the top. O'Shea leads the chase. Just toes it forward. Oof. And well done there by Stallard. I haven't minded his game actually this afternoon. I think he's really come on in the off-season. And Redland, they'll come away with it. Mills.
I agree with you there, Kanga. Handball over the top to McGannon. Spots up Bailey. Out wide to Huddy. Marks in front of Shaw. So what can they do with this next kick? So we know Southport are very good defensively. He's just forced to bomb it inside 50. Tate will be under it. Drops the mark. Ends up with Batoli Simmons. Shot on goal. And can he get it through? He can. That's Batoli Simmons' second goal for the afternoon. And it came from a drop mark by the Southport defence.
Well, one of the things I think, in my opinion at least, my very humble opinion, is that Redlands like to chip the ball around through the back half and through the middle of the ground, and really their midfielders they come up level or lateral with the kicker, and if they turn the ball over, which they have a lot, Southport can quickly kick it over the top and have space to work in. The problem is they need to go a little bit quicker so that the Southport defence can't flood back in numbers to start milling and working their way around the ball, because they're also very good at going from behind the ball and getting numbers behind it. Working it forward as Fife gets it to Clements, and that is the full-time siren. Be a few tired bodies out there. Round one in the proper thrust and parry of competition football in the NEAFL in 2019. The round one clash is over, and it is Southport running away, convincing winners in the finish. 16-14, 110 to Redland, 7-6-42. The margin 62 points. How did you see it, Jess Webster?
Well, I think Redland definitely showed glimpses of some great footy, and they were competitive. They just couldn't go the distance against a Southport side coming off a flag. They've full of class, had too much firepower all over the park, and ultimately were too strong from the Bombers. But look, they'll learn a lot from this game, and I think they've got a lot to work with this side. A lot of new recruits are getting their first taste of NEAFL footy against what is an extremely well-drilled side. So a lot to work on for the Bombers, but Southport got the job done in the end.
Yeah, that they did, and they had winners all over the ground. Their defence was good with Tape, Clark, and also Murdoch just controlling and patrolling the back half of the ground, and then through the middle of the ground, you know, it was the likes of Shaw, Boston, Ruse, Manteet, really sort of doing the job there. Turner, I thought, was good, particularly early. And then up forward, you had the likes of Mitch Johnson. He kicked 5 goals, 3 for the afternoon, and he was ably supported by Jamison Shea with 3 goals of his own. For Redland, I thought Adrian Williams tried very hard. He turned the ball over a little bit, admittedly, but he would be rightly tied. He had 25 disposals and 6 rebound 50s. Jack Rolls, again, similarly, you know, I think he had 3 clangers for the game, all off the foot of his right boot. But he still tried very hard. 23 disposals through the middle of the ground, a couple of tackles to go with it. Hamilman probably just didn't see enough of the ball up forward, as we saw in season 2018. He still managed to kick 60 goals last year and be the leading goal kicker for the NEAFL. He kicked 4 goals, 2 today, so not a bad return. And then I like the way that Caleb Franks worked away. I think he's got a bit to him in the way he worked through his midfield. Cameron tried hard when he had opportunity, and Stallard down back as well, I thought was a good improver for Redland. I think there's something there, Jess. I think Phil Carr's has got a bit to work with, but I think their systems and their skill level needs to improve, particularly if they're going to challenge some of the better sides and be really competitive in season 2019.
Yeah, could agree more, Kanga. So footy is officially back for NEAFL in season 2019. It is the defending premier who ran away with a 62-point win over Redland.
Well, thanks very much for joining us here at Fankhauser Reserve. And Jess, we'll look forward to the game between the Brisbane Lions and the NT Thunder on tonight from TIO Stadium. And round 2 gets underway next week. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Jess. And from Jess and myself, Mark Kennedy, good afternoon.